and we'd like to find out that whether there's a possibility that you will be making the impact in the cause for women.
Over the past 10 years, after 2001, when the Taliban regime was withdrawn and the international community came to Afghanistan to help Afghans establish a democratic government, there has been a lot of progress on women issues. You know, during Taliban, women were not allowed to go out of their houses. They were not allowed to go to school. Young girls were deprived of going to school. And even if for us to go to the doctor, we needed to have a male companion to accompany us. So it was the most dark period of woman life in our history was during the Taliban. However, after the Taliban withdrawal from the power, after the Taliban removal from the power, there has been some significant progress, especially in the area of political participation of women, social participation of women. A small example is that right now in our parliament we have 69 women parliamentarians, which is out of 249 makes 28% women in the parliament, and this is a huge progress. We have after the fall of Taliban regime, a lot of girls went back to school. Schools were open for girls, so was medical and other universities were also open for girls. Right now 7 million children go to school, out of which 40% are girls. But the problems are, after 2005 we were hoping that things will go in the right direction, but after 2005 unfortunately things have changed, and they have changed towards a negative path. Especially when President Karzai started the so-called peace talks with Taliban. Now the shift of the government focus is from the women rights and human rights now is to talks and reconciliation with Taliban. Taliban ideology is always against women, and they would like to impose their own understanding of Islam on women. I know what does that mean, living as a Muslim woman under Taliban regime. I spent my whole life in Afghanistan. I know it was not an Islam that I know. It was their own interpretation of Islam that they wanted to impose to Afghan women. They deprived them from education and all basic rights. So when the government of Afghanistan would like to talk with Taliban, our concern is that we will lose all the gains we have had in the past 10 years. Like the freedom of speech, the freedom of social and political participation, going to school, life as a human being. Our concern is that we will lose that life, and so for that reason we're struggling. We're mobilizing civil society and other networks. This is not the only problem that women are suffering. The other problem women are suffering in Afghanistan is violence, different kinds of violence, domestic violence, early marriages, forced marriages, poverty. Just before coming to Singapore, I went to visit a girl in the hospital who was a victim of brutal kind of violence from her family. She was 15 years old, young woman, got married, and her husband and the family put her in prison in a bathroom for 5 months, beating her, trying to remove her nails, and not giving her enough food for 5 months. She was about to die. They threw away her hair. This is the brutal kind of violence we are trying to reduce in Afghanistan. And my role in this is that we are trying to lobby, and right now I'm working on a law in the parliament that is called Law on Violence Against Women. I hope we will get this law approved, and by approving this law there will be a lot of changes on the women issues. But you know, working on those issues is not easy. You face a lot of challenges, even from your own male colleagues in the parliament. I face a lot of challenges on a daily basis because they oppose me.
So how long do you think it will take for a legislation like the Women's Charter to be endorsed?
I hope in the next 2 months this law will be endorsed, because I'm working on this law in the past 1 year. There was a lot of opposition. Many people in the parliament, especially male MPs, opposed this. They believe that this is a law against Islam, which is not true. It's what we are fighting is an Islamic rights of women, a true Islamic rights of women, not a Taliban Islamic rights of women, a true understanding of Islam. So there is a lot of opposition from the male colleagues, but I hope that in the next 2 months we will get this law approved.